Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to Delta Green Impossible Landscapes with Greenbox Gaming. My name is Joe. I am the handler for this operation, and you are joining me with my three friends, the three agents who are going through this shit show all together. We got Brad playing Hank Ellis, the U.S. Marshal who turns out has a very complex relationship with his 5 children from 5 separate women, as we saw last time. And then we've got...
could have made it more complex.
But
I decided to go easy on you.
Yeah, well, thank you. We've got Dace playing Benji Potts. He is our musical historian and occult dabbler. It was on the team.
There.
And then, of course, we've got Jean playing Benedict Farthington, journalist, editor, big man on campus, and brand new owner of a freshly catatonic personal assistant.
This is why you don't bring your intern to work these days.
Yes, this is why Delta Green does not have a bring your kid to work days and that kind of thing. It's because of exactly what happened
I forgot about that.
last session.
Or your bond.
Right, yeah, or
Isn't he
one
a
of your
bond?
bonds. Yeah, he is.
So
Don't remind me.
Bold move.
Bold move. But
I'll bring all 5 of my children to the next session
why not?
in the game, Joe, and you'll have to act out.
Every single one of them. So how are you guys been doing?
Great.
Yeah.
Fine.
Excited.
Yeah, we did.
Nervous.
We missed out. We missed out on some recording there. A little bit of delay, but there was the Thanksgiving season, and then like we all have real lives and have work and stuff we gotta do, and that's kind of the nature of the game. You know what I found out this Thanksgiving, guys? I
What's
found
that?
like I guess I haven't really. I've lived abroad. I say abroad. I've lived around in different parts of the U.S. For since my early 20s. But up here in the Pacific Northwest, it always interests me everywhere you go, like the different foods that people eat at different times of the year and stuff. And Thanksgiving food up here is different than it is back home. Like they're not nearly as big on... I had to explain the concept of dressing to no fewer than, 10 people just to get it through their heads what it was.
Frankly, I'd like to know what it is, too. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Kind of joking, but kind of not. It's like bread.
Wait, this
Seasoned bread.
the turkeys, right?
Yeah, well,
I'm kidding.
And I suppose out of all of us, Jean is probably the least well-informed of typical Thanksgiving cuisine.
Look, in my world, dressing is the shit that you put on the salad to make it not taste like lettuce.
That it is also true. That is also a form of dressing.
Put some ranch on the turkey.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that ranch ranch flavored things in a lot of countries, especially Europe, it's just called American flavor?
Yeah, isn't there Doritos,
hilarious.
ranch flavored Doritos are called Cool American?
Or something like that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're like American flavored Doritos because they don't have ranch in other countries, I guess. Which is their loss, quite honestly.
Yeah. I mean...
Are you not a big fan?
1 point for America.
You're not a big fan of ranch, John?
It's like super... I don't know, maybe I've had the wrong ranch dressing, but it seems super creamy, and maybe I've had the wrong ranch
You
dressing.
can't overdo it. That's for certain.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Seasoned mayonnaise.
Okay.
At which point do you just end up with a potato salad in your turkey?
Yeah, that's true. Well, Jean, what is a pretty typical... I think the big thing with Thanksgiving is it's kind of associated with a family gathering. What's a South African kind of family gathering focused holiday that we're unfamiliar with?
Apartheid Day.
Whoa!
Jesus.
That's all about bringing people together.
It's
Definitely
really,
nailed it.
really about bringing folks together.
I don't know. You guys export your culture so successfully that maybe Black Friday is a real day to come together and go shopping. No, I
Oh
don't
shit,
know.
y'all have
I
that
don't know.
too?
Yeah. You guys did a good job. Get those sales. Get them done. No, the one day is like Heritage Day. That's a thing in South Africa,
Okay.
where everybody tries to dress up in all of the 11 official languages and official cultures that are recognized. This is like
That's
heritage.
interesting.
Not so much family,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But that is interesting because the U.S. is not that old, and it's hard to say. I mean, there are definitely like regional cultures, but they're probably not nearly as distinct as South Africa, which was like specifically formed from distinct countries and big tribes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is this something that your family actually does? Like, people get together and dress up as the different? No, they're not that patriotic.
No. Well, you just eat a spaghetti every day, right? Spaghetti a day keeps the diabetes away. I don't know.
It's,
Well,
you know, you're the only South African I know, John, so I just assume that everyone eats spaghetti in South Africa. That's like
Right,
your
no,
national
that's-
dish now.
That's accurate. That's the national dish for all Africans, really, on the African continent. It's spaghetti. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think about
Not-
when I think
not
of
really.
Africa. Spaghetti.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
they
it's
serve
spaghetti.
it at McDonald's over there.
Right?
Mixed spaghetti oil.
Mex
So
spaghetti.
our goal for
Ugh.
next year, let's all call our congressman and push for ranch turkey worldwide
Ugh.
on Thanksgiving.
All right,
So,
all right.
going back to dressing, my conceptualization of Southern dressing is basically, I think the historical kind of reason for it is that traditionally you have turkey or chicken left over and cornbread left over after getting everyone together on Thanksgiving. So dressing is a dish where you take your leftover turkey and your leftover cornbread and you turn it into kind of a casserole. You kind of like mash it all together
Oh,
and
that's where it
season
came
it
from.
and bake it, and it becomes this like day after Thanksgiving casserole. But throughout the years in the South, I think it became something just associated with the season, and now you see it both on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, Joe and Dace, like, did your parents ever do this? Our grandparents have cornbread left over, and they put it in a glass of milk and eat it.
And buttermilk, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's an older Southern person thing to do. Like
It's called buttermilk.
Is
I
that
asked my
tasty?
well, they put it in buttermilk. Like
I've never had
they
it.
specifically use
Okay.
buttermilk for it.
I'll raise you one weirder. Something that my grandma used to eat, and that was she would take peaches, just raw ass peaches, and put them in a bowl of milk and put sugar on them. Peaches and milk.
Huh. That doesn't
Yeah.
sound too bad, though. Really.
Oh, it
It's
does.
just
I'd
weird,
go
though.
for that right now.
I mean, it's good, but it's fucking weird.
What'd you call that?
It is.
Peaches and milk.
Peaches and milk, man.
Peaches and milk. Keeping it simple.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking my grandmother what that was called, the cornbread milk, and she said bread milk.
Your bread milk. Shut up and eat your bread milk, boy.
Do I
What do
drink
you-
it?
Do I eat it? Like,
What if you put a straw in it and try to like slurp it up?
It'd be too thick.
Straw get clogged with breadcrumbs. Oh.
Yeah, and it's
Tears and
considered
breadcrumbs
it's
and-
very taboo to reach down there and unclog it with your fingers. You have to just suck it so hard that the clog comes through.
We're coming up with so many new Thanksgiving traditions right here.
I hope you're
Next
writing
year.
this down.
Yeah, this is very important. Well, it'll be recorded for all posterity, for all time.
Ranch turkey and bread
Permanent.
milk.
Yeah. All right.
Did y'all have your one shot, by the way?
Oh, no, we did
Oh,
not do our
we
one
couldn't.
shot, unfortunately.
Weak soul.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving D&D one shot was ultimately put down by the same titanic force that puts down so many tabletop RPG games, which is scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
It always happens. But nevertheless, we are here now playing this game. So much more than a one-shot. Something that is probably going to last easily.
Till we're dead.
Easily. I mean, till we all die in real life.
Someone's gonna die this one.
Yeah. So, quick recap of where we are. You guys are in 1995, New York City. You are investigating the cover story is that you are investigating the disappearance of Abigail Wright, a young artist in New York, that you were investigating her disappearance. That's the cover story that's being fed to the FBI, the justification for you guys being here. What's really happening is that a occultic symbol was discovered in the case files of Abigail Wright's possessions in her apartment, and you guys have been, and it basically set off flags at Delta Green, and they have sent you guys in and under the auspice of assisting with the investigation. Now, ever since you guys have started, there's been some strange things. This clown was the first thing. This strange dancing clown in the park. Once you guys got to Abigail Wright's apartment, you saw that there was the whole apartment was filled with garbage and some like bizarre shrine, things glued and tacked to the ceilings and the walls, and random garbage and trinkets all arranged in the home in an odd way. And you know this is going to be a nightmare to go through, some type of like trying to clean out a hoarder's house while you're cataloging everything. You were able to go around and interview some of the other tenants, most of which, and you kind of came to the conclusion, it's like, well, it's weird. Everyone in this building seems to be an artist of some type. We've got an author, we've got an illustrator, we've got another painting. Abigail was a painter. I guess you guys haven't specifically found out about one of the other tenants, the one you haven't met yet, Michelle Van Fitz. You really don't know her stick yet, but you guys had kind of communicated with them, and they were a little odd, but there's nothing extreme. You guys began to explore the rest of the building. You found some strange paintings in the basement that depicted some odd things, including one which seemed to depict the very scene that Benji Potts had seen unfold with the dancing clown in Washington Square Park. A painting of something that happened just that day before, which seemed quite implausible. Benedict also was lucky enough to take home a blank canvas, a seemingly blank canvas that was marked "My Greatest Work." You guys then were able also to find something odd in Roger Caroon's belongings in the basement. A weird, he's the writer, and he had this floppy disk that had this odd story that was entitled Night Floors, which again seemed to describe your characters as federal agents appearing in his story. He also had this kind of bizarre this kind of bizarre poem or thing that was spelled out one letter in 64 files: smooth is the hand that makes the world, and steady is the mind that grasps it. Lastly, you guys all went home. Benji has a standing appointment for Friday afternoon or Friday evening with his buddy Skylar to fulfill some of his bond requirements, his bond responsibilities. And then Benedict, of course, went and had some interaction with his PA. And sounds like Frank Ellis, he was the one who went through a lot of his files and also had a bit of an encounter with his son, his eldest son, who was, what's his name? John. His eldest son, John, whose mother had recently died. One of Frank's, or not Frank, God, one of Hank Ellis's former partners has recently died of cancer. Unfortunately, Frank, per usual, so dedicated to his work, that he was not able to engage well with his son, and maybe those bonds have suffered. You guys shared all this information and went back next day to Roger Caroon's home, also bringing Jeremy with you to do more of the arduous cataloging work in Abigail's apartment. You left him there alone in her apartment to catalog the mess that was there while you guys went and grilled Roger. Roger seemed to genuinely have no idea what you were talking about, where this floppy disk and the story was from, though the disk matched other disk that Roger had in his home. Something else, I believe it was Benji who noticed it. He opened Roger's refrigerator and noticed two kind of odd things. That one, Roger had a bunch of food in there that said that it should have been far, far out of date, but actually wasn't, which was a little odd. And he also found a bottle of alcohol, a bottle of a fine vintage of wine that seemed very out of place. That kind of piqued his interest. You guys were all interrupted right at the end of your interrogation of Roger by a deafening boom, a deafening tone that rang out from Abigail's apartment. You all rushed there to find poor Jeremy in a semi-catatonic state, gazing out the window, and you guys saw that there was looked like a homeless man with like a boa constrictor draped over his shoulders around his neck, walking across the street. And you discovered that in Jeremy's hand was this symbol, a symbol that is associated with demon summoning and demon worshipping, for a demon called Person, P-U-R-S-O-N. And you guys made, and this is when that big critical success that Benji Potts had, as Benji says, I know what this is. I know what this is about. This is presence in the Ars Goetia. The Ars Goetia being a kind of manual, a well-known, long-standing manual on the summoning and communication with demons. So that is where we left off, with poor Jeremy with blood running out of his ears and a far-off look in his face as you guys all rush back into Abigail's apartment. But before we start with the present, let's move it back just a tad.
Oh no, script flip.
Yep. The scene opens on a bright and sunny day in downtown London, 1990. We are outside of the Daily Mail headquarters there. There's people coming and going, journalists who are all eager to get their job done and to be the one to get the scoop. Though we are in the early 90s, especially in the UK, a lot of the focus is still on the same things that they've been on for the past few decades, on the USSR, the former Soviet states, and how they're integrating. There's a lot of unrest and general kind of like things going on. And actually, I don't remember, when was like Princess Diana? When did she die? When was that a thing?
Much later.
Was that much
That was
later?
late 90s, wasn't it?
It was in the 90s, right?
94.
It was later in the 90s, I think.
Yeah. But you guys are there. We see there's like everyone, all the buzz that's about, it's probably some scandal going on here and there. And also in the early 90s, there's a lot going on. It looks like the Americans are, there's always something going on in the Middle East, and the Americans looking like they want to shoulder in, and there's this crazy guy, Saddam Hussein, who's some type of general or the president, like who even knows, in Iraq, doing some craziness. But we are going to zoom in right over to one of the benches in front of the Daily Mail office. There is a man who walks out and plops down, pulls out a cigarette, and begins to take in the hustle and bustle around him, it is none other than our very own Benedict Farthington. And it is a beautiful, blustery day. It's fairly warm. You don't have to wear a coat out, but you're just kind of people watching. And like, how did when Benedict was working back, still in London, how would he release stress in the middle of his day? What do you think his go-to method is, just to get a little space?
He would definitely go to the park and sit on the bench, but he'd have a bit of a ritual to his sandwich makings, to opening it up. He'd have his little beautifully packaged sandwich, which Judy, who was his neighbor at that time, would package for him for work. He didn't ask for lunch to be made for him for work, but Judy made it anyway, with a beautifully waxed wrap, and he would just open it up slowly, one at a time, whilst looking at the bird. There'd be a squirrel running around. And it would be very methodical, very, very cathartic for him, releasing the sandwich from its shackles of wax paper. And he'd really think about his life and his own position in life, and releasing his own shackles from the hyperbolic and symbolic wax paper of his life.
So I would imagine that a disruption to this little ritual would be quite perturbing.
Do not, sir.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, this particular day, like you're sitting there, and the pigeons are. Wait, are there? I know pigeons are a huge thing in New York. Are they in London too? I don't know. Maybe we're gonna pretend they are.
Yeah.
Because they're just like they're sky rats, right? They're everywhere.
They have little monocles on them, and
and top hats.
hats.
Yeah. Well, they're also not real, and I think we can address that in another. That's a whole Delta Green series of its own, is whether or not birds, what birds really are and what they really aren't. And sitting there, a shambling man comes up to you. He's heaped in. It's warm out, but he's heaped in coats, and you can smell him. You can smell him as he approaches, and you look up just at the wrong time. Benedict knows better than to make eye contact, but sometimes it happens on accident.
He avoids it.
Yeah, you look up right at the wrong time. Bam, eye contact. He was looking at you. You looked at him. He shambles over to you. Hey, a little bit of change. Little bit of change, sir.
No. Away with you, sir.
Wait. Maybe just a nibble of your sandwich there.
Not today.
It's tomorrow then.
I don't have enough.
Tomorrow then.
No, not tomorrow.
You said tomorrow. I heard you say it.
I hope to never ever see you again in my life. Go away, you filthy wretch.
Balls to you. Hey, excuse me, ma'am. And he points off there's like a woman walking by. He's like, change, ma'am. Now,
yes, off. Smelly hobo.
It seems like
takes a big bite from a sandwich whilst looking him in the eye.
A big one.
Like a big bite.
Like throws the crust on the ground for the birds. As you do this, you hear a voice behind you. Like there's someone standing behind you. He says, well, it seems that the vagrancy sure is getting worse.
So you may be right, but right now, not the time.
The man leans forward and he puts his elbows on the back of the bench. You see him now. He's a white guy. Looks like he's probably in his 40s, a little bit overweight. You can tell that he has pretty much no hair, just from the way. But you immediately kind of look at him, and I mean, Benedict's probably fairly stylish. Like you at least have people to buy the appropriate clothes for you. This guy, he's wearing like an old school like bowler hat. Like he's kind of goofy looking in that way. He's got like this like double-breasted jacket. Like it's kind of fancy, but he's definitely American. You know, he sticks out like a sore thumb. And he's like, only gonna get worse from here, you know.
So I can tell you're not from here, and one of the worst cultural faux pas that you can ever derive from a Bitrus man is to interrupt him in his sandwich unwrapping. So please, on with your business. Good
Yeah.
day.
You're
I
right.
said good day.
I forget myself. Oops, looks like you dropped this. He bends down and picks up, it looks like maybe a piece of the paper that your food was wrapped in, and he hands it to you. And turns and walks away.
Thank you. Very, very kind.
You look down at the piece
Wretch.
of paper. You look down at down at it, and this is, I mean, this is not a piece of the wax paper that your sandwich is wrapped in. This is something else. It looks like an old piece of parchment almost, but it's folded neatly in 4 folds down into a small square.
Oh. And guess I'll have to look at this now.
Benedict goes to open it, and as you do, you are suddenly you see a dark shape kind of block out the sun in front of you as 2 men in like trench coats come up in front of you, and they come right up in front of you within like a few inches, and each grab you underneath one of your arms. And
what is this?
One of them, and you feel something hard being pushed into your ribs, and you look down and see the barrel of a gun. And you see, here, quiet. One of the men, as you freeze, one of the men reaches up and grabs the paper from your hand, stuffs it in his pocket, and he whispers to you, he says, "Don't make a sound. Black van, 12 o'clock. You look up and you see a black van parked on the side, up on the curb, and its door slides just a tiny bit to the side.
This is most unusual, sir. I demand an explanation.
He said, they push your head down as they push you into the van. You hear, it sounds like maybe someone did notice that this was happening, but it was too fast, too late. You were gone. Your sandwich still sitting there, and no doubt that vagrant will be eating it in a matter of minutes. That's probably the greatest injustice here.
It's the worst part of it.
In that moment, we now pull back into the present day of 1995 as Benedict Farthington is recalling his initiation into Delta Green, how they pushed him into that van, black bagged him, took him to an unknown site, and basically read him in, possibly out of complete necessity. He's still not entirely sure on the fact that all of this world is slowly falling apart, and that if someone doesn't do something about it, everything from that homeless guy, the woman just minding her own business, your PA, your neighbor, that they're all just minding their own business, never knowing what's happening. But right now, you're back in Abigail's apartment. Jeremy is still muttering to himself, eyes wide, unfocused. A small dribble of blood coming out of one of his ears, no doubt from the cacophonous sound of that you guys heard from the other room. And now, I will open it up to you. What do you do?
Jeremy! He goes and he grabs Jeremy. Jeremy! Slaps him. What? Get yourself together, man. What is wrong with you? What is happening? Tell me immediately.
There doesn't seem to be an effect. Luckily, you did have you were able to wrench that piece of paper out from his hand, and Benji was able to tell you that this is something associated with demonology and whatnot, and that this symbol, I believe you guys probably still should have the link for demonweb101.com
Yeah, it says the
was
website's
trying-
down for maintenance.
Oh, does it?
What?
Demons have
Wow,
web server
spooky.
issues all the time.
What a shame. Oh,
We knew too
man.
much.
We flew too close to the sun.
Did anybody happen to write down what person was about?
I can give
Probably
you the.
I don't want to do a Google search because I might see something about the story. But
I can
Hey,
give you
was he
something.
President Howell.
So let me turn to that so I can give you some.
it was like
info on
it
person.
was like pretty vague. He was like all knowing about past, future, and present.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Let me see.
It wasn't anything as specific as that hereditary demon that was like specifically about wealth.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have it here if I can remember how the alphabet works. Sorry.
And once you're good. Once we figure out what's going on with that, like, okay, so it's like, so some time has passed since we saw this like homeless guy with a boa constrictor around his neck go in front of this car.
That is
and then
basically-
we like looked this up on.
That's basically just happened, and the
Okay,
Demon
we
Web
looked up all this
101
shit.
thing was just basically think of that as a product of Benji's critical success on that. Like, this is just information that Benji kind of knows off the top of his dome. That the Ars
Okay.
Goetia,
When he saw this symbol.
yes, the Ars Goetia, and one is considered to be, and the Lesser Keys of Solomon are these kind of methods to communicate with and summon demons that you guys are.
Okay,
That
we
he's
figured all
familiar
that
with.
out.
Yeah.
You
know this association.
Figure out what's going on with what's trying to going on with Jeremy, and then we see this guy walk across the street. Okay.
Right.
Oh Lord, we're gonna have to follow him.
You don't have to do anything.
Run after him.
Let's just sit in this room for.
You know
5
what, guys?
sessions.
I don't
Talk
want
about-
What
to
if we
follow
just
the
lock
guy.
the doors? I
Yeah.
think we should just lock our doors and go to the basement, grab some toilet paper. We'll be fine.
Okay, I found the piece on person. If you want me to read it to you real quick.
Yeah.
Person is a great king of hell, being served and obeyed by 22 legions of demons. He knows of hidden things, can find treasures, and tells past, present, and future. Taking a human or aerial body, he answers truly of all secret and divine things of earth and the creation of the world at the behest of Baal. Person is depicted as a man with the face of a lion, carrying a ferocious viper and riding a bear. Before him can be heard trumpets sounding.
Oh jeez. Okay.
So that
I say-
cacophonous sound that triggered Jeremy, would you describe that as trumpet sounding?
I would describe that as being trumpet adjacent.
And it like blended in with the horn of the car.
I said by the
That
time you
skidded to a
guys,
halt.
by the time you guys like got in the room, you kind of heard the sound of this car honking outside, and it seemed to blend into it, like almost as if it never happened.
Well, that makes me wonder
Oh.
if Jeremy did something that we don't know about. What if he actually summoned person?
I mean, so I say, Benji,
Like Jeremy.
Just like Jeremy.
does
man.
that fella crossing the street kind of look like that person demon you talking about earlier?
Well, he sure don't look normal.
That's fair.
Okay, I want to like kind of. Is that really a boa constrictor around his neck? Let's do like.
He's gone. By the time you guys,
Oh, he's
are,
gone.
like-
I can't even.
Yeah,
Man,
like he's
come
like
on.
well, when you guys saw him, he was. Pardon me. He was walking across the street and just like whoop, just turned into an alleyway, and he's pieced out. Like you're not able to study him for a length of time. I will tell you, like as far as you were aware, like I mean, it kind of looks like he had a snake around his neck.
So if we run to that alleyway and try to tail him, he's just like disappeared.
Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna run out of the apartment?
Yeah,
Okay.
Benji will.
Benji, you open the door, and as you do, you run face to face almost as you go to bolt out with Detective Gueridanda.
Oh Lord.
He's standing there, and it looks like he was just about. He's got like a box full of papers and files in it, and it looks like he was just kind of trying to get it into one arm so that he could knock on the door. He's like, Agent Micha.
Oh no, Benji's like pushing past him. Like maybe he knocks the box of files out of his arms and they scatter. Like he's trying to follow this guy.
All right, make me like a dexterity. See if you can dodge around him without just upsetting everything.
Me, my character sheet, Dex, Submit. Success.
All right,
62 under 70.
Yeah. You are able to dodge around Gueridanda as you go, and he is and he just he spins around with the box in his hands. He's like, what's gotten into him? What's gotten into him? And he looks at you guys. You guys are standing in Abigail Wright's apartment. Hank and Benedict, and you have a catatonic person who is bleeding out of their ears. How would you like to handle said situation? Just asking for a friend.
I guess we hear the detective at the door around the hallway. I'm like, Benedict, I don't know how close you were to this man, but he's going to be about as useful as a barrel of monkey nuts. We need to hide him in the closet right now before the detectives comes in here.
Yes. Good idea. He's a bit shaken.
Try to shove him in the closet.
Trying to shove him in the closet.
Shove him in the closet. All right. It's not hard. It's like that's not going to be a problem. As you close the door on him, you just hear whimpering.
Hush you.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Gueridanda, he walks in. And he's like, am I interrupting? Am I interrupting something?
Oh, nothing, detective. Just working late tonight. Doing our due diligence. What brings you here?
Oh, well, you asked me to bring you these, the rest of the reports and everything from the Abigail Wright case. It looks like you guys haven't really, but it's like you look around. It looks like Jeremy had been kind of busy, and there's a reasonable pile of bagged items there, and he's like, looks like you guys have been busy here. That's good. Did I hear somebody else in here? Do you guys have someone else on your team? Or?
Oh no,
Nope.
You heard it? Nope. No.
Okay, well, he just takes the box and just puts it down on the ground. He's like, "What's up with the agent Micha?"
Well, he had an appointment,
Benedict.
obviously. Did he not tell you on the way out?
He has to go to the dentist right now.
Thus far has been appalling, and I'm just surprised at your lack of awareness. Truly. Pay
Aren't you a
attention, sir.
detective?
But all right, you guys have already sassed this guy last time he was here, so he just doesn't really have time for it. He's like, all right, well, actually, give me some type of check. Give me some type of roll to see if this guy is going to tell you something interesting, or if you guys have been too douchey to him.
So
Go,
for like a
Benedict.
charisma.
Yeah.
So your attentiveness is terrible, but do you have anything for us?
All right, yeah. See if you can pump him for something. Give me like a persuade or whatever it is. I always forget the name of the damn skills in this game. Charisma 59 under 75. Yeah. He reaches in the box and there's like a file on top. Says, this is the only. He's like, I was going back through things and really, the only thing I found interesting was kind of refreshing myself on what we had, was this case here of Abigail Wright. She filed a police report several months ago. Looks like she was, I don't know what you'd call it, accosted or something. She said she was mugged in the building by some weirdo. Files there. I mean, we looked into it. We didn't see anything about it, but yeah, it's there. But I'll leave you boys to it. Looks like you got a lot of real important garbage to sort out. FBI's finest right here.
Oh, thank you, detective, and we'll do our best. Hopefully, better than you, since you haven't solved this case yet.
Yep, all right. Yep. Good luck with your garbage sorting. Sure. I'm sure there's a reason they didn't send real investigators. Sent the cleanup crew here. Have a good one. He walks out. Benji, you run across the street to the place where you saw the man go. You get to the alleyway and you look through. There is a chain link fence at the far side of the alleyway and a dumpster. You quickly throw open the top of the dumpster. You don't see anything. And
of course.
You can't really imagine if this guy would have vaulted this chain link fence. It's possible.
Benji will just kind of do a slow 360 and be like,
Hello? Great King of Hell?
You
and
get nothing back.
nothing. Okay. Yeah, that might have worked. I'm just gonna go back to the room. Be like,
Where you got away?
You see
There he
Guerdanda.
was.
You pass Guerdanda on your way out. He's like, good luck with your root canal or whatever.
Oh, it's already done. I got the best innings on this side of the Mason-Dixon.
He eyeballs you and shakes his head and leaves.
You met me in a back alleyway and took out my tooth with a drill.
Yeah, I imagine you're just talking at him as he's walking away. He's like, yeah, whatever, man.
Yes, go back to the room and just tell him that he got away. It's like,
You wouldn't think he'd be that dexterous with a big old snake around his neck, but he must have jumped that fence.
I guess while Benji comes back, Hank is going to take a look at this, browse through this report real quick.
Yeah, so you get this. You look at the police report. It was filed by Abigail Wright last year about this time, because today canonically is what is it? Isn't it like August 11th or something? I should really keep track of this. I want to get this right because some of the timeline stuff.
He was last seen the 1st of June, reported missing 4th of June.
Yeah, it is August 11th, 1995. August 30th of last year, 94. So just about a year ago, Abigail Wright filed a police report saying that she was mugged in the building, in the Macallistar building. Supposedly, you're reading the kind of narrative in the statement. She says that an older, weird guy, older white guy, in a silvery, like, robe and a weird mask, she, like, heard a ruckus and kind of went upstairs to check. Like, she walked upstairs, and near the stairs to the roof access, she saw a man, and he knocked her down, and he like grabbed her and slammed her up against the wall, and asked her, "Where are the tunnels? Where are they?" And like kept yelling at her and shook her. And eventually, he kind of like threw her down and snatched her purse and poured it out on the ground, and rifled through her things and ran away. And that was the last she saw of him. She reported to the NYPD. She wasn't hurt. She also didn't seem to be it didn't seem like the guy actually took her money. That he seemed to just kind of rifle through her shit and leave.
Well, this is useless. Toss it over.
Tears it in half.
Burns it right in front of everybody. No. Obviously share that information with the crew. I'm reading it out loud, I suppose, as I go through it. I say, fellas, this just don't make no sense. We got Jeremy in the closet, lost his mind. This person, demon symbol. Abigail Wright was mugged almost a year ago by a man in silver clothing and a mask. And, well, hell, let's bring, what's his name? Maybe Roger should see this. Maybe it will jog his memory some more. Even though I know he's still in the other room, I guess, with the door open, just nervous that we were shaking him down.
When you guys left, yeah, you didn't really see what he did. You assume he's still in his apartment.
Could you jog our memory on what we found out about Lewis? Wasn't he super sketchy and there was some contradicting information on him?
That was the other guy. Well, okay, no. The guy across from Roger, what's his name?
Thomas.
Right.
I don't see.
Thomas?
Thomas was the guy who you
wasn't
guys
he
still haven't
fine?
really talked to because you offended him thoroughly.
Yeah, he wouldn't go in.
Lewis was the clean-cut dude upstairs.
Yes, he was the
didn't see
comic book illustrator.
Okay.
Was he being sketchy?
I think the interaction
Seem
that
to
you
remember there was
guys,
something.
I think the interaction that you guys had with him was basically that it sounded like he didn't know much. He wasn't very close to Abigail,
Yeah.
and that he saw her, exit the building because he has one of the front-facing windows. He saw her from the door, but he didn't have much to do with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know where else to go and sit. Roger's obviously got something weird going on. I don't know what to do besides question him a little bit more and then go from there. He hasn't seen the person symbol yet. Who knows what will happen when he sees that?
Yeah. The only other thing I think
Well-
that you guys have found...
There he goes.
we lost Dace. Lost Dace for his internet connection. But he'll be back here in just a moment. I don't want to go on without Dace. Anyway, but you guys... I think the only thing that you guys had gotten from Lewis was that he was a bit odd.
Yeah.
Okay, you good, Dace?
Yep.
Okay. The only thing that you guys have found is that actually Benedict had opened the mailbox for Abigail and pulled out all of her mail. But that hadn't been really
goddamn.
investigated.
Jeremy was supposed to be sorting through this.
Fucking Jeremy,
I did,
man.
fellas, I do think that I need to tend to my care of Jeremy. Would one of you please sort them out? He wants to just escape his responsibility of doing any kind of chores,
Okay.
but also he wants to look after Jeremy. I think I need to bring him to Judy very soon.
What's the
for a cup of
time?
tea.
It's probably near noon. It's probably between 11 and noon.
Oh, okay. So you want to go? Let me get this straight. You want to take Jeremy back? Just get him out of here, maybe to calm down
Well-
while we continue the investigation.
Well, I'm torn because I guess we do have work to do. Is there a tea kettle around here?
There probably is one. Like the kitchen seems to have like utensils and stuff.
You know what? You know what? You're right. I will just make it a spot of tea, and I'm sure he'll be fine afterwards.
Surely. Are you going to pull him out of the closet or just leave him there? Just ask him for a
Pull him
friend.
out of the closet and make him a spot of tea.
All right, you pull him out of the closet. Oh, pardon me. As you do, he's just kind of still mumbling. He does make eye contact with you now, and he seems to be like maybe a little more with it, but still just in a state of probably of shock. Does anybody here have any type of medical first aid-ish kind of skills? Is that part of anyone's thing, or even like psychotherapy or?
No.
I could try.
I mean, you give
I
it.
mean, I have 10%.
Give it a go, I guess. You know.
This isn't really my gig, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Look at me, Jeremy, and I look into his eyes. Oh, fell.
All right, 27 over
Yep.
10. Yeah.
He's a goner.
he's not long for the world. Like the best that you guys can think is like he seems to be in like you guys have probably heard of shock to some extent. You think that maybe if you just give him some time, you have no idea what to do about the ear. But yeah, you Benedict, you go in to try to make some tea. As you do, you open up one of the cabinets to look for teapot, I assume, or or a pot to boil some water in or something. You do find a teapot, and in fact, you find like 3 teapots. They're all in the same cabinet together. One of them looks like your pretty standard kind of metal teapot. One of them looks to be like this really fine kind of porcelain. It's like a chicken. It's shaped and painted like a chicken. Looks to be like a very old school handmade one. It's very, very nice, kind of cute. And the last one is like you would say probably like a very nice, like sterling silver, extremely ornate teapot that looks like the kind of thing that you would expect to see, like in the UK, like, they have like tea shops and like corner pubs and stuff that maybe, or even people's families who have these old tea sets that are hundreds and hundreds of years old. And that's what it kind of looks like to you. But it's not old or dusty, and it looks like it's been freshly shined. It's clean and pristine. So you have your pick.
Jeremy is like talking to me even though he's not even conscious this right now. Jeremy, I found your favorite kind of kettle. It has a chicken on it, sir. I'm going to make you a spot of tea with the chicken kettle.
He's kind of just like, have you like sat him there in the kitchen? There's probably a chair. You can probably just set him on the chair. He's just kind of holding himself and looking at you and just like kind of confused and scared.
Look at its chickeny legs. It has little legs at the bottom. I'm going to put it on the stove for you now. You just hang in there, my son.
All right. So what are the other 2 of you going to do while Benedict is attempting to care for Jeremy?
First thing, I guess Benji's gonna find that piece of paper that had person symbol on it and pocket it, just so no more mischief happens with it.
And doesn't Benji also have some of the food from Roger Caroon's apartment?
Well, I'm glad you asked. He certainly does. And what I want to do.
But wait a second.
Things I want to do,
but wait a second. Do you have food from Roger Caroon's apartment? Where would Benji
shoved it in my...
Where Benji just shoved it in his pocket, right?
Yeah.
I believe it was.
Baby.
I believe it was a pound of hamburger meat, and what was the other thing?
All I got was the meat and the wine.
The meat and the wine.
That's all you got.
That's all you got. Just a pound of hamburger meat. You reach in to get the pound. Like as you're thinking about this, you realize suddenly there's an awful smell. You
it's
look
awful.
in your pocket, and this hamburger meat is now gray and gross and kind of leaking through the plastic. If you
Ugh.
open the wine bottle and you look, and it's like, and the wine bottle, you pull it out. Like I assume, I don't know how one puts a wine bottle in their pocket, but we're gonna suspend disbelief for that section. You pull out the wine bottle and you look at it, and the label, the paper label, is dry and flaking like it wasn't before, and the cork is all shriveled and like it's like desiccated. And if you pull the cork and smell it, man, that's just vinegar now. That's not wine anymore.
So, question: Benji actually drank some of the wine.
Earlier, yes.
Yeah. So, does he have like an upset stomach now? What's going on with that situation?
I would say that you would not have drank enough to be bothered.
Okay, we gotta figure out, is this an illusion, or is this like, was it actually old and we were just like deceived in the apartment, or was it actually altered and that apartment's keeping it fresh? Did you have anything else you were gonna do, Benji?
Well, I was gonna try to track down that dog with the hamburger meat, but that's kind of shot to shit. The other thing I wanted to,
Go ahead, sorry.
the other thing I wanted to do was find the maintenance guy that maintains the building and maybe ask him about the tunnels. If he knows of any tunnels, because the guy that assaulted what's her name was asked where are the tunnels.
And by the maintenance guy, who do you mean?
Well, in the basement there's like janitorial supplies and stuff. I just assumed there is a maintenance guy. I mean, it's
There's
an apartment
also,
complex. Somebody's got to maintain it.
There's also, in the story we read, that was like weird, like they were like the whole group apartment was having a discussion prior to us getting there. In this like short story, there's the night manager.
Yes.
What's in that story?
Who was referenced as Mr. Castaigne.
We also know the building was run by Art Life, so we could dig into
I
that.
forgot about that.
Yes, and you also receive the Art Life, like their offices, like where they're at.
I think that's a good lead.
I want to try one thing. Are we thinking about leaving this spot soon?
We are gonna have to finish organizing all this shit to keep our cover story.
Oh, we're gonna like do that and then leave, because I want to try one more thing.
I mean, if you guys
Before we
want
leave.
to do some cataloging, that basically you will get a search roll. You get an opportunity to do a search roll, and that will kind of determine if you find anything terribly interesting or not, while you're kind of chipping away at all this. And I will tell you too, especially with you guys did a little bit of work on the first day, and Jeremy seems to have done he's a busy little beaver. He seems to have done a good little bit of work. You think that it seems to probably going to get easier and easier as you go, because things are being cleaned up.
Okay. What did you have in mind?
I'm about to pull Roger out of that apartment and see if he decays. So it sounds like I do like the idea of going to this. What was it called? Benedict the Art. Who runs this place?
Art Life.
Art Life. I do like the idea of checking them out. Let me see if we can squeeze anything else out of Roger. He seems one step away from turning into whatever happened to Jeremy. So I go over there into his room. I guess we only left him for like 5 minutes. I say, Roger, where are you?
He opens the door pretty quickly. He is again still quite. He's still very kind of sad, or not sad, but he's like, is everything okay?
It absolutely is not, sir. Come here. and I grab him by the collar.
Okay, he doesn't resist you. He's like, "Oh, what's? I'm sorry. What's going on?"
I bring him in the apartment. I say, "Now try to calm down, son. Seriously."
Put him here next to Jeremy.
You just so Jeremy's there, bleeding from
Put
his
him here
ears.
next to Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like,
"Would you like some tea, Roger?"
Would you like
we're-
some tea? I've just made some tea.
Jeremy is just holding a cup of tea and staring deeply into it, without moving. Roger's like, yeah. Who is this?
Don't you worry.
Yeah,
He's
don't
a-
worry about that.
He's a friend.
I want you to clear your mind, Jeremy, and forget about the flash drive, the story.
Floppy. What's
all
a
that
flash
stuff.
drive?
Yeah, floppy disk. Never mind. I just want you to clear your mind, sit here, have some tea, and tell me if you know anything at all about this symbol. And I'll show him the person symbol.
He looks at it and he's like, no, I've never seen anything like that. The tea's good.
Look closer, Roger.
He's got nothing for you, man.
Okay.
Well, what was the name of the night manager?
Mr. Castaigne. It's actually on roll 20. It's toward the bottom where some of those notes are made. So yeah. So now you've got Roger is also sitting in here with you.
Roger, could we kindly get the number for the Art Life facilities?
Yes, I believe you already have it. You have the contact info of where it is, and you have the phone number for it and whatnot. For Art Life, which is...
Roger, I'd like to cross-check the number that I already have for the Art Life facilities.
Okay. And because this is 95, there's phone books and stuff. You can probably find the number in the phone book. It appears to be correct.
Benji's gonna ask Roger for Mr. Castaigne's number. He'd be like,
What's the phone number for your maintenance man, Mr. Castaigne?
He's like, who?
Mr. Castaigne.
He's like, I don't know who that is. He's looking at everyone holding his tea. You know, he's like, the tea's good.
Benji, I think this Roger knows nothing about the floppy disk, the story. Mr. Castaigne was in this supposed fictional story, remember, before we showed up. He's useless. I mean, you're doing a good job, Roger.
Thank you. Thank you for the tea. Can I go?
I reckon you can. And just some advice: get some new food, please. Go out, get some groceries. Do not eat that crap.
Okay.
Has anything happened to Roger? Can we
Roger seems fine.
see any difference? Seems fine.
What the fuck is going on with his apartment? I don't see. I think is it like
No idea.
a wool over our eyes, or something like actually altering on a physical level in his apartment? Are we gonna keep Jeremy? Like, if my only other thought is if we get Jeremy out of this catatonic state, he might actually have some information from whatever he saw. But I
We
think
could also check the mail. So maybe Benedict will go and grab the mail and wave it in Jeremy's face. Jeremy, you've now had enough time to recover. Stop pouting. I know you didn't want to be here today, but stop it. Now, did you check this mail? And did you deliver the mail that I asked you to deliver? It was very
I guess give me some type of role to try to get through to Jeremy. Probably a psychotherapy, because he is not doing well. You want to try to get him out of his stupor. Yep, that's a 57 over 10. That's a fail.
Just remember, do your check.
Yes, and make sure to check the
Benedict.
box by your failed.
So we can go
skills.
level up on those skills.
No, he kind of takes the mail from you, like as you hold it in his face, and he just holds on to it, and is just like looking at you, and seems to still kind of not be, lights are on, no one's home.
Jeremy, I'm very disappointed. He just takes it back and he rips it open himself.
Okay.
I think
If you go through any amount of the mail, you see kind of what you expect. As a lot of these letters the envelopes have in red stamps across them things like late notice, final notice, things like that. It looks to be bills. And you can tell by just the letterhead that's on the outside the envelopes that it's from power companies and cable companies and and telephone company and things like that. And that is it looks like that Abigail's stuff is not being paid, and that and from what you can tell, a bunch of the final notices really, like all of these things probably were shut off at the beginning of the month.
What are the dates on the letters? All regular old dates.
For when things were still being paid?
Yeah, all the notices within this. Nothing unusual with the dates there.
It kind of looks like that Abigail that she stopped paying things probably in the beginning of June. And it looks like April was the last time she paid anything.
Reported missing around then. Okay.
Yeah.
Benji's also going to roll the psychotherapy on Jeremy, just because why the hell not?
Okay.
Also only have a 10 in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Failure. Same as Benedict, 57 over 10. Make sure to enunciate your scores for me when you roll things, please. Just in case I'm not on the screen, because sometimes I've got other things going on my monitors. You guys don't seem to be having much luck getting through to poor Jeremy. Poor mind whammy Jeremy.
Well, fellas,
I say
Actually, though, everyone give me a intelligence roll. Everyone.
$37 under.
40 under
Yes,
60.
Benji got a failure with 76 over 75. Damn.
Well, Benedict, you vocalize this. It's like they're just bills. It looks like, she stopped paying in April, and that's, and she had last reported being seen, I think, what was it, like the 4th of June or something like that? It was like when she was reported missing on the 4th of June. And you report, it's like, yeah, it looks like her, blah, 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 her electricity was cut off, at the beginning of August. And Benedict and Hank both, like Benji, maybe you're over there trying to work with Jeremy, trying to get through to him. Benedict and Hank, as Benedict is saying this, you both look at each other, and you pause and look directly up at the light fixture, which is currently illuminating the room.
Oh,
Now, how
Seems
could
weird
this
for a
be?
place that has its electricity cut off.
I flipped the light switch on and off.
It operates as normal.
And maybe that was that electric stove. The electric stove's working too.
Yeah,
They haven't cut off the power of this place.
You just made tea on it.
Benedict, I don't know about this. There's something altering on a physical level this entire apartment with the bad meat and wine And this,
That was in a different apartment.
well, I mean, the apartment building, possibly.
Yeah. I think Benedict looks around for a fire roll lever.
A what?
The
Oh, like a fire
thing
alarm.
you pull when you want to fire alarm,
Oh,
right?
interesting.
Yeah, there's probably one out in the hallway.
What's
So
your?
this could be a crazy idea, but at this point, I just want to go home and tend to Jeremy. What say we burn this place to the ground? Dead set. Just he's fucking level set on.
Well,
Well, it would decrease our workload quite substantially.
Yeah.
And it would sort out our cover story. We would just need to make sure people escape the building successfully. Controlled fire, of course.
I thought you were going like pull the fire alarm and then break into everybody's apartments and investigate thoroughly. Nope, you just want to burn it down.
Well, on second thought, I guess
That
that
was-
could work, but
there's something super sketchy happening in this entire apartment, obviously, and we haven't gone in anyone else's room. If we do the fire alarm, I kind of like that idea. What if we do it like later at night, though, and like get the art done this afternoon, deal with Jeremy, and then come back later and do that.
Yeah, we need a clear target though, because we're only gonna have a matter of minutes before the actual fire department shows up,
Right.
presumably.
we'd also see who comes out, right? If there's anybody
Right.
hiding out.
So, I like this plan a lot, Benedict. How about we do this later and then finish sorting through all this crap, see if there's any more demon symbols or whatnot, and then head over to Art Life. And whatever you want to do with Jeremy, we could follow you for that.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
So then, was that you guys want to do some more searching before you do all
Can we
that?
clean up this entire shit? Like, get rid of any search that might be necessary in this apartment
You could just start.
to the best of our roles?
I mean, you could just
and then
start
head
doing
over.
some. You could do some more cataloging. Basically, you're not going to be able to get it all. There's too much left to just get it all done in one go.
Okay. So I
Oh, Benji will chip away at it.
Right? If you guys,
So you want a search roll?
yeah, if anyone who's going to be doing some searching, go ahead and roll that roll and see what you get. See if you guys find anything interesting.
Benji got a 743 success.
and Hank got a 10 under 50.
Okay. And I'm quite frankly surprised that Benedict was going to look at all.
Manual
Yeah.
labor.
Nothing better to do. He's distressed by Jeremy at this point.
He
Trying
failed
to
his role,
burn down
though.
the building.
Yeah, so you guys start to go through this stuff. And as you do, we'll start with I guess we'll start with Hank. Hank, you are digging through a pile of papers. And it like some of them are on like lined notebook paper. Some of them are like kind of in unintelligible scribbles. Anything from what was like grocery lists to musical lyrics to like little personal affirmations. They're written on everything from lined notebook paper to like plain printer paper, napkins, and there's like a big stack of them, and it's like going through an entire stack of documents. They're just on all sorts of different things. As you do, you come across something that kind of catches your eye. Give me one moment to enable you guys to handle this. You will see it there in the middle of the screen. I'm going to just drop it right on top of the drop it right on top of the old map that we already had. I'm going to make it a good bit bigger so you guys can read it. You see this. It appears to be a map, a hand-drawn map of the Macallistar building. Is that a good enough size for you guys? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. It appears to be a hand-drawn map of the Macallistar building. It looks like it's been drawn on a piece of brown paper, like grocery sack. And it has all sorts of notes on it. Specifically, you see there's everyone's apartments are kind of laid out. There's, notes like man with briefcase and white shoes. You see something that you guys were recently talking about. You see it looks like an offshoot from the map that says Mr. Castaigne and the parlor.
Fellas, come look at this. That's on the top floor, and it looks like a tunnel for sure, but it's on the top floor, and it goes to the middle floor.
That's where the roof
Right?
access would be.
And there's like a little tunnel that says night floors, which is awful similar to night seas.
And it reminds you of in the floppy disk in the story of all of the people, it was entitled Night Floors.
Oh, the short story was called Night Floors, and his novel is Night
Yes,
Seas.
his
Okay.
novel is Night Seas, but his short story
Yeah.
was called Night Floors.
I'm so confused by this map right now.
Well, tell me about the
We
things that you
absolutely-
see here that are of interest to you.
I mean, it looks like there are different events marked on the map. There's something called Roses and Butter with an X.
In her
and then-
apartment. This is in her. That one's in this apartment. It's in a closet.
Yeah. Should we check the closet for Roses and Butter?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Seems like a quick win. Or a mistake.
You go into the closet and you open it, and you see that hung upside down with their stems facing up and the flowers facing down looks to be a large, beautiful bouquet of dried roses. There is also an empty, looks like an empty box kind of stuck with it, like a keepsake, of what looks like some type of buttered toffee, like really old schoolish kind of butter toffee. It's empty. There's no toffee in it. But yeah.
Can Benji do any sort of check to see if Roses and Butter, like if that's part of some ritual that he would be aware of?
Yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, which skill would that be? Occult?
Sure.
Is a failure with an 85 over 60.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to ring a bell. Anything in particular.
God, that's so disappointing. That's like one of the things he's good at.
Yeah.
One of the things he was built for.
Oh, one of the other things that
Roses and Butter.
one of the other notes that's written on here is door on 712 and dead guy in mask.
In the tunnels is the dead guy mask is just under that tunnel layout. I mean, I'm
The whole
super
up,
curious
down.
about all this.
Yeah, up down. That was a shaft going through the building, right?
That's the weird thing. That's the top floor that goes to the roof access, but this map has a tunnel going all the way to the floor below it.
And also on the bottom floor, there's an arrow going down that says up.
Where do you see that?
Oh, he's just looking at the stairs. That's the staircase.
Is that the staircase?
Yeah, it's just the staircase that goes from bottom to top.
Oh,
On the middle floor? On the middle floor, we haven't even been to that apartment that has the tunnel connected to it, have we? We haven't gone inside there.
That was Michelle
No,
Van
there's no
Fitz's apartment. You guys had gone there before you guys went home and knocked on the door but didn't get an answer.
And I think Hank put tape over the door to see if anyone would have left it
Correct.
prior to coming back, so he could check that.
And we didn't look at
Here's-
the top floor, did we?
No, we didn't. Here's where Hank stands. This is way more interesting to me than the art life thing right now. But
Yeah.
we could go through everyone's role of the search. You know, we have this, and then on our way out, check out these tunnels and shit. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we should look at the top floor.
Well, let's before you guys get terribly engrossed in this, let's keep in mind that Benji also was helping to sort through some of these things.
Right.
Benji, as you are going through things, hold on, I'm trying to find a particular handout. That does not appear to be here. That's no fun. There it is. Benji, you're going through things and you open a book. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be anything from an encyclopedia to a phone book. And out at your feet falls something. Which I'm going to put here as well. I will go ahead and slide it. I'm going to slide it right on top as well. It is a ticket stub that falls out at your feet. Let me know if I need to make it bigger or not.
Yeah, can you make it a little bigger?
There, I'll just make it super big.
Yeah, that's good. It's a ticket for Whitwer, or Michael Whitwer. And the date is June the 6th.
After her missing.
Which was, yeah, reported missing 4th of June. Last seen 1st of June.
Go ahead and give me.
So someone's been in this apartment since she left.
Go ahead and give me a intelligence check or something intelligence-esque as you guys take a peek at this.
All of us? Or
Just whoever is looking at it. Oh, Benji, make sure to mark your occult failure.
Yeah.
Hank is a 25 under 60 success.
And Benji is a 79 over 75 failure.
You guys are looking at this. Benji, I don't know, there's some other portion you're thinking about, oh, well, this was just days after she went missing. Maybe that's significant. Hank, your eyes are pulled to a different section of this. 6 June 2015.
Oh, holy shit.
Where do we see this?
The date.
Oh my god. Oh, it's the years in smaller print. Hold your horses, fellas. Do my eyes deceive me, or is this 20 years in the future?
Go ahead and roll me a
You
sanity
want to
check.
talk about booking in advance?
Go ahead and roll me a sanity check for old Hank. He's the one who has this.
Oh my
He's the one who
God.
has this revelation.
Dude. Failure.
All right, take 1 sanity
89.
damage.
Oh.
That's unnatural sanity damage, so you don't get anything for it.
Wait, I had 6. Okay, 1, you said?
Yep, just 1.
Okay, I guess 60. So, fellas, this is, I don't know about this, between the meat and the wine and the ticket. Oh, shit.
So, this Mark? Was this the Mark? Michael? No, Mark. Not Mark. It's not the Mark that they said
We don't know a Michael.
somebody ran off with.
Yeah,
The
this
salesman?
What is this a ticket for?
it's an airline ticket.
It's an airline. Yeah, L.A., Los Angeles to Boston,
Could be the
and a
salesman.
future crumpled up ticket from Michael Whitworth from L.A. to Boston.
What's that handwritten note on it?
Yeah.
There's a. What does that say? I can't make
PO?
out the text above the number. PO?
It was like, I think it says PO or NO 95671. I don't know if that number has necessarily come up.
Is that an area
Maybe the
code?
post offices. Or the post boxes.
They don't normally stamp on tickets like that, do they? This is an old ticket, so I don't know.
Old new ticket.
That old new. All right, trippy.
If it's PO, that could stand for post office box.
Yeah, possibly.
He's not divulging any information.
Yeah.
We should.
I'm just letting you
Maybe
guys
go-
process this.
Oh
What
my
would
Go
be
god.
look
the-
around the building.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. But what would be the 1995 equivalent of a Google search? Like if we wanted to Google Michael Whitwer,
Well,
go to a library.
well, the thing is like you do have a federal marshal in your party who has access to this kind of thing. Otherwise, you could use probably a bureaucracy skill to do some type of search. Like maybe you could find an online version of a phone book to search through. You could definitely look through if you look through the phone book here, like I'm gonna say that you don't find a Michael Whitwer. Not in this phone book for New York, in 1995. So like, but you could do a bureaucracy, otherwise to do like a person kind of fact-finding thing if you wanted to try to find this guy if you wanted to. A bureaucracy, or maybe that seems to be the best choice for me. If you guys want to make a case to use a different skill to find people, by all means, sell it to me, and we'll work it out.
Hank, you think you could get your boys in blue to take a gander at this Michael Whitwer?
Oh, we surely can.
What is everyone's
Once I get my
bureaucracy skill, by the way?
Mine's pretty.
I have
solid.
a 40 with 10%.
Got a 52.
What is Benedict? What's Benedict?
52.
Benedict, you are fairly certain that you can run this down, no problem. Yeah,
It takes a phone call.
you're an investigative
Which we don't
journalist, or like you know enough investigative journalist, 100%. You could do a phone call. You think you could probably have this in the next half hour?
Well, like to get this done. I could actually take Jeremy back to work. I think that might actually be good for him. I could take him back to work and ask somebody at the office quickly, and they could also tend to Jeremy.
And do the phone call and then come back? Is that the idea?
Yeah. Well, at the office, I guess. They'd have the resources.
I'm all right with that, partner. You're gonna have to do another phone call roll.
And you know how you do with those.
Well, if there's anything old Benedict knows, he knows his way around the phone. I'll be right back. He goes to the phone booth.
Oh, you're just doing it. Okay.
Just gonna do it. I don't know.
What phone booth are you going to?
If you can try now.
Sure.
There was a phone in the
Oh, like,
hallway, wasn't
yeah,
there?
there's the old school, because this is like an old turn-of-the-century building. There's like an old school little phone booth outside. People do also have phones in their apartments, but there is that little phone booth there.
He will go and try the phone booth.
Hey, real quick, actually, off topic. Can you guys resize things in Roll20 or only move them?
No, only move.
I can only move them, I think.
You don't see the little
Yeah.
boxes in the corner to resize them at all?
No.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay, I'm just gonna resize this and make it smaller and get it out of the way.
Cool.
One other thing, the only other thing I would want to point out is that this plane ticket's from LA to Boston, and we have a note that
I actually
Abigail's
think it's from
credit
Las
card...
Vegas. I think
Oh, sorry,
LAS
Las Vegas.
is, yeah.
Yeah. Las Vegas to Boston, and her credit card was last used in Maryland. Which is Maryland, that's like 20 minutes from Boston, right? Or something like that. Do we have the actual city
I
in
mean,
Maryland?
oh yes, it was Patience, Maryland.
Okay. Just something else to point out.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, Jean, what were you gonna say?
Going to go up to the phone booth to make a call. Trying to find out a little bit more.
Alright, cool. You get on the phone and, you dial out, and, like, who are you calling and what are you saying to them?
So the associate that looked at me across the office, I'm sure I've got his number. He's one of the partners at the intern at the Mail, the newspaper outlet that I'm liaising with.
Yeah.
I think I'd call him.
Okay, yeah, you probably have a
Think that'd
number
be Bobby.
there. You get a hold, you don't get a, actually, roll me a luck roll. Roll me a D50, or just a D100. You want 50 and under. Let's see if you can get a hold of exactly who you want.
1D100, right?
Yep.
Oh, well, use the little left side.
Alright, that's a
Damn.
60. You get a hold of his assistant.
Bobby, is that you?
Oh, yes, Mr. Mr. Farthington. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Mr.
thank God.
Mr. Jones is out right now.
That's fine. I need you to run a name for me. Mr. Jones actually said that I could call on you anytime for anything, so effectively his PA is my PA, and therefore, by proxy, you need to please run some details for me. Thank you.
Oh, yes, Mr. Farthington. I can get it to one of the journalists. What?
No, I need you to do this now.
Okay, I will
need
do
you
it
to
right
drop
now,
everything and do it now.
sir. Yep. What is it? What's the name? He takes the name from you. He tells you, he's like, okay, what number? And you're able to give him the number of the building. Like, there's, the phone number's like written there by the phone, and you give him the number, and he tells you he will call you back soon.
Very good.
Cool. And so what about what's Hank interested in doing now? So you guys are kind of talking about it. It's like that. It seems like the focus has shifted from, instead of going to the Art Life office, to maybe investigating the rest of the building.
That's kind of where
Yeah,
I'll
I'm down for
land
that.
as far as interest. It's funny, like, we were prompted to go through all this shit, and we never went through all this shit, like, story wise. So, like, the game makers probably wanted us to do this all kind of the first session, but we were like, screw it, we don't want to go through that
I didn't
shit.
want to do paperwork so badly. Don't want to do paperwork.
And now we found all this interesting stuff. Okay.
How many sessions are we on? How many gameplay sessions have we had now? We're still in this fucking apartment.
You guys, I guess, are technically, this is 4. Yeah.
All right.
So actually, in the time that maybe you guys are getting this cleaned up, Benedict, you hear the phone outside. You go get it. You get the call back. You were told that Michael Whitwer, the only Michael Whitwer that they can find really is lives in Langston, Michigan. Is a current student at Grant High School. He is 15 years old.
don't know many 15-year-olds going on planes nowadays.
Well, he would be about 35 in 2015.
What are you trying to imply, Benji? He's some kind of time traveler?
Hey, I don't know, man. Don't get all testy.
I had to roll for sanity damage last time that was suggested, so don't bring that up again.
Oh man.
What do y'all think about just hitting all this shit on our way up to the night floors? We got the man. What does that say with the white shoes?
Briefcase and white shoes.
I know we can probably get back into Roger's apartment. That's where that is.
Again.
Listen, Benji, this man is hiding something. I know.
I know. I can smell it on him. Well, Roger's apartment's on the first floor, and I think you're talking about on the Macallistar map, the room that has the tunnel going into it. That was Michelle Van Fitz's apartment. You guys still haven't spoken to Michelle Van Fitz.
Yeah, but my suggestion was to hit all these on the way up. So, like, first go across the way to Roger's apartment, try to find whatever these white shoes are, and then go up to the second floor and hit the points of interest there, which it looks like you said, we can access the tunnel from Michelle's room or the roof. And then there's door on 7 and 12 in Lewis's apartment.
So it looks like you guys want to basically investigate a little more what's going on, and start moving upstairs and talk to the rest of the tenants you haven't. And that's actually probably a good place for us to go ahead and pause. And I think that you guys have discovered just so much more weirdness this episode.
If only we had done what the game makers prompted us to do on the first
Never.
session.
Yeah, you can't.
We will fat with tea, rather.
Yeah.
We haven't even left the room this episode. That's a whole new load. Like,
Well,
to get Roger, and Benji ran out and then came back in. The entire episode, one room, baby.
well, that is a good place for it to stop. Like I said, thank you guys for playing here today. Anyone who's watching or listening to this, thank you for joining us. Come back next week for we're gonna be trying to put these out every week. Come back next week to see where we go from here and further investigations of the building with our crew. If you are watching the video, stay tuned. The VOD will continue on into or pick up the VOD for next week and join us that way too. Also, anyone who's listening to this, we have some social media stuff. It's being built, but if you go on Reddit and go to r/greenboxgaming, there's a thread there that's basically let us know you're listening, tell us where you're from, and just so we can try to engage with you guys. There's another place there for feedback and whatnot, and what you think could go better. But let us know if you're listening. But thank you for coming, and join us again next week, and we will see you guys then. Say bye, you bastards.
And cut.